Welcome to Steve Savant's Money, the name of the game. Hi everyone, I'm your host, Steve Savant, syndicated financial columnist and money gamer extraordinaire. For many Americans, selling your home is one of the biggest financial moves they'll ever make. And today we're talking about selling your home with real estate expert, Mike Bodeen. Hey Mike, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Steve.
I appreciate you. If you missed our other episode, we were talking about buying a home. Now we're talking about selling your home. And I got to tell you, as many times as I've moved, selling your home can be a bear. You're going to have all these people coming through your house. You got to set it up. And I want to talk right up front, Mike, because I heard there's a lot of debate, and there probably shouldn't be. When I'm prepping my home, I have to prep it in the mind of what the seller or buyer is going to want. So is staging really that important?
Steve, we feel it does. We feel it actually, and statistics are showing that it's actually reducing market time and increasing seller share.
So somebody's going to come in your home, a professional.
Yes.
So we'll walk in, rearrange, tell you to buy this, maybe paint that, do some things that you need to do to really bring it up to spec. Curb appeal, how big is that?
Curb appeal also is huge.
So there might be some landscaping issues.
Landscaping, painting, maintenance. There's really a lot of preparation that should go into preparing that house for sale.
When I know I'm going to have an inspection as the selling of my home, and I have to be ready for somebody to find different things. It could be mechanical. There could be some functionality maybe in my irrigation systems. There could be my swimming pool. I could have issues there. They're going to go through this, and I'm going to have to, more than likely, this is going to fall on my tab. So what should I try to wait till the inspection goes through, or should I try to anticipate this up front and fix it before the inspection comes?
Well, that's a great question. You should take care of it up front, not so much for the inspection, but for the buyer. Because remember, that inspection can be a possible time of remorse for the buyer. So if they're seeing too many things that are maybe have been neglected and not in repair, that may cause them to actually want to walk from the deal. So I think it's just beforehand, it's good just to even have a handyman come over. Some sellers elect to have a pre-inspection and to have a home inspector come over to their house and just to kind of do a quick run through on it. And maybe 3-4 weeks before they're putting the house on the market, so they can get some of the major things taken care of. We don't recommend necessarily that everything be taken care of, but certainly the major things.
So if I have good curb appeal, I prepped the home, I've staged it correctly, I've done maybe even a little bit of maintenance around all the things I can do, just good look at, so I have a really good first showing. Now I'm ready to price. Now this is really difficult, I think, as a seller. You want to get top dollar, but you have comps that you're going to be dealing with, and people you're going to be negotiation. What if you're in a buyer's market, right? Talk a little bit about how do I price this correctly, because if I really truly want to sell it, I have to price it right. Well,
again, to reiterate what we mentioned even on the first show, was to check your emotions at the door. The problem as sellers that we have is that this is our home. And like a lot of sellers, they think that whether it's a home inspector or the appraiser may be coming in with less, they're taking it personally, that it's an affront to them. And then this can really send a negotiation south.
Do you have to actually tell your seller this, some of this equation? You have to be a little bit the psychiatrist on the couch here?
What we actually advise our clients, our sellers, is to be gone. Is to, for example, at a home inspection, leave. Don't stick around. When the buyers are looking at the house, leave. And that's kind of a dual purpose for that. One is that we as realtors, we want to be able to actually get the feedback when we're showing a house. We want to find out what the buyers are not liking about it. But if the seller's there, the buyer clams up. They're not going to say anything. And it's important that we actually know what the truth is so that we can maybe fix it.
So we're leaving the house. We priced it right. We did it maybe based on comps. We think it's a value. We've checked our emotions at the door. We're trying to be realists. It's tough because it's our largest asset.
Yes.
Okay, and we're ready to go. And we're willing to now entertain people coming in on an open house. Let's go to open house. How is it? What is better? Is an open house all that it's cracked up to be?
Well, there is a kind of a perpetual argument in the real estate industry about that. My personal opinion is, yes, it's important for the first couple of weeks. And the reason why I like it for the first couple of weeks is that what happens is we want to be able to create a lot of buzz in the neighborhood. Word of mouth is really important. You'll have neighbors that may want a friend of theirs or a family member of theirs to be able to buy in the neighborhood. So for your neighbors to be able to see the house is a great way to be able to do that. And having an open house is a great way for all the neighbors, especially, because that's who you'll be having come in the first couple of weeks. And some sellers will say, well, I don't want my neighbors in my house. Well, okay. The question is then, do you want to optimize every possibility to get the house sold?
And it sounds like you're saying optimizing, we're using an open house at the front end of your listing,
yes,
gets word of mouth. And I didn't realize there's so much traffic just by social media and now things that are going on now, especially in your own neighborhood.
Absolutely.
That's a huge issue. What about when I'm looking at not only my price, but I have in my mind when I want to really leave, when I'm really trying to get out. How important is that for me to have that in the back of my mind already in my head, and telling my real estate agent, my realtor, should I tell them, hey, I'm really trying to get out of here in about 60, 90 days?
Yeah, you know what, that would be very valuable for us to know, because that really gets back to the pricing strategies there. Okay, if you want to be out of here in 60 to 90 days, Mr. Seller, that means that you have to be under contract in 30 days. Are you ready to be out under contract in 30 days? And if you are, then great, then we can get you out of here in 60 to 90 days. Now the pricing for 30 days, guess what? It's a little different than 60 to 90 days.
We come back from the break. We're going to talk more about showing the house and all those things that people dread, and some of the things you already mentioned, which is, hey, we don't want you to be around when the buyers come in to watch. We'll be right back after the break.
Take a close look at your hard-earned dollar. How do you think your money's doing? Are you keeping an eye on it? Is it protected from taxes, inflation, and market risk? Over time, those Washingtons could become Franklins. With tax-advantaged indexed universal life from one of the largest distributors of indexed universal life, Ash Brokerage.
Well, welcome back to our second segment. Of course, we're with real estate specialist and realtor Mike Bodeen, been in the business over 35 years. Mike, I want to talk about, we're going to have people coming through our home, but we have to advertise. We have to advertise our home. We have to talk about our home. We have to have pictures. In the last decade, we were even doing virtual tours, complete film of the inside and the outside of your home. Right. I can go to Zillow.com and get an overview. I can go to Bing.com, get an overview. We've never had more intel on a home, and we can sort and figure out which homes we want to see well in advance by all the detail section of the MLS ad. Talk about how important this ad is.
Well, I call it an ad because there's lots of things that we can do marketing-wise. You can do home brochures, obviously websites, and the open houses and newspaper ads. But the main one that if you're going to major on one ad, and this is what I explained to young realtors there, then that's the MLS. Oh, is that an ad? That MLS is what's going to go out to the world. The world is going to see that. And then the world is going to see the photos on there. And we are a visual people. So if you have great photography and your verbiage, and that's why, and I will explain also to young realtors, it's like, you want to labor over those, in our case, the 680 characters that we have to be able to put on the front end of the MLS listing there, because that's what people are looking at. So it makes a difference how you put those words in there, and also with the photography. The right words and the right photography will get the people in the door. And that's what I feel like my job is the major job is I need to get good qualified buyers into the front door.
I'm always amazed and I've been on your site, one of your most popular sites in our state. I've been on your site, and I'm always amazed that realtors or real estate agents are posting without any pictures, no tour. Why am I going?
Well, no pictures or bad pictures, even worse, or little to no or poor verbiage. For example, when you read in the remarks section, great location, that's the first thing that they're coming out with. Well, guess what? There's nothing that they can talk about the house, So good photography, and that's a professional. For my clients, I hire a professional to
You're
come
not just
in
using your smartphone and taking a shot.
Oh no, no, it's too important.
Now, how you said the description? There's really an art to wordsmithing on this, isn't there?
Absolutely.
I mean, a real art to this.
Absolutely, the right words, because and some agents, for example, they will capitalize all the words. Some will lowercase all the words. I want to blend them because I want their eye to pick up the main things about that house that I want them to know about that's going to get them to walk through that front door.
In my description as a wordsmith, am I promoting the top feature of the home right up front?
Yes.
Okay, so then is it prioritized from there as I walk through the home and describe?
Yes. Good question. That's our human nature, is we tend to kind of like lose interest quickly there. So what you want to do is you want to come out with your thunder first, and you want to put that out so that it might grab them to say, hey, honey, we need to go see this house.
So let's say I have the proper pictures, I have the video, virtual tour, I'm doing film on this. How big is that, the difference between just pictures and having an actual cinematography tour? Is there really that much difference?
In my opinion, no. I know virtual tours, some people like it, but the reason why they're kind of, I think, falling out of favor is because it's much easier for people just to go through the slideshow and to see the photos rather than to wait for the camera to crank around. So they can actually see the photos at their leisure. They can go by quickly, they can look at them. And so I think that that's important because everyone is so time driven.
One more question about pictures. If I have to take pictures and I'm trying to do features, and if over 80% of the call of buying this home is going to be done by the female of the equation, then my question is am I taking shots of the kitchen? Or am I taking shots of the master bedroom? What's really big?
Well, that leaves some discernment to, I think, both the realtor and the stager. And we talked a little about the staging before, because with that stager is so important, because they can actually take kind of a dull and dreary kitchen and without even much expense. It's not like we're going to be adding granite or even stainless steel appliances if that's not what they want to do. But what they can do is they can actually spruce that up and make it look good. But for, sometimes there's only so much that you can do with the kitchen. That may not be the best attribute of. Maybe they've got a huge, spacious yard that'd be great for the kids. Maybe it's a wonderful family room there. Now, the kitchen's important, but you want to go out with your best, with your thunder.
Okay, so I've prepped my home. I got great pictures. I got a great description. I did my open house at the up front. In a typical time, and I know everybody asks you this, Mike, and I can't hold you to it, but what from the day, if I did everything you told me to do from the get-go, what am I looking at as far as a sale? 30 days, 60 days? Is it hard to make an equation like that?
Yes, it is. We can give pretty accurate estimates there based on all that. Unfortunately, it's not that neat and tidy, because you may do all the right things, and then you may have determined that you want your price a little high. But assuming that you're going in line with what your professional is recommending, and you're doing all the right things in the condition and the staging of the house, then you should go at least no worse than the regular market time of your market. You can look at your neighborhood and say that would be 60 days. You could be out of that. You could be out of that house in 30 if it sells the first weekend too.
Well, that's all the time we have for today's show. I want to thank Mike Bodeen for being my special guest and today's money mentor. And keep in mind, before moving forward with any of the ideas you always hear in our show, consult your tax advisor or your legal counsel. Don't forget, you can email me at steve@thenameofthegame.tv. And remember, as the good Reverend John Wesley once said, make all you can, save all you can, give all you can. I'm Steve Savant. See you next week.